get it wrong. I want somebody to tell me that I'm not alone, that we're not alone.
It's always soothing to watch that intro. Welcome, everybody, to AI Tuesdays on the Inspire SA channel. I'm so glad that I am back. It's been such a long time, man. And today I'm not actually coming alone, I'm with Jessica. Jessica is the newest member on our team, and she's been amazing ever since. I've learned a lot from her and all of the resources that she's actually given us. So, Jessica, do you mind actually introducing yourself? I don't want to seem like I'm not doing you justice just because you're the newest member.
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Randall. I am currently the new Microsoft Student Learn Ambassador, and it's really great to be here on this episode. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, it's so nice to be on the show. It's just that it's been such a long time since I've been here, and I'm like, oh no, no one's gonna recognize me. Oh my god, I look so dark, anyways, but that's fine. So today we have Narcisse with AI Tuesdays. Obviously, it's AI Tuesdays, and we're looking at artificial intelligence. Again, I always say to you guys whenever I'm on the show, never ever think that, oh no, AI is going to take over the world and it's going to ruin our lives, it's just going to kill humanity. No, actually, AI is going to make our lives better, and that's what Narcissus is going to show us today with natural language processing. And it's so fun to actually learn what AI can do with those things, because I remember the last session I had with him was around sentiment analysis, and he was looking at trying to do this using code. And I remember mentioning to him, it's like, you can do this without writing any code with Power Thursdays. And I mean, he saw that and he was so shocked. But anyways, I don't want to be blabbering on about a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure Jessica is actually excited to see what Narcisse has in store for us. Hopefully Narcisse is not going to disappoint us, because it's been such a long time I've seen him as well. Narcisse, welcome back, or welcome me back, I don't know what's going on.
Welcome, Samalese, and thank you for having me on the show. And also welcome to you, Jessica, and welcome. And like, I don't know, just a big welcome to both of you.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you've mentioned, Samalese, you've done most of the talking for me. It's AI Tuesday, and we're continuing from where we left off with natural language processing. Like, as preparing this session, as preparing the content, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because there's so much out there. There's really so much out there, and I have to like put it all down in a graspable into something graspable for people to understand and take and make use of it. So yeah, last time we were on the show, we did classifying text using natural language processing. We did it using code, but now I found even something even more cooler where you don't even need code at all. So if you don't have any programming language or tech background or anything, this one is for you. All you need to do, all you need to have is Azure. So enough talking. Let's just jump onto the theory first, because you can't do anything without theory.
Wait, Narcisse, wait, before you go on, I just want to note, have I poached you over to the side of the Microsoft Power Platform? You should go to Power Thursdays, you know?
Not really. I'm in between. I have to be honest.
You busy
I'm
here
in.
talking about low code, so I'm like, oh yes, Narcisse has finally come over to the Power Platform, and he is a Power Ninja now. So, I mean, show us what you got. It's really awesome to actually learn from you. And one thing to note to everyone is that if you're looking at natural language processing, it's actually trying to process whatever things that I've already said here on the show, but obviously it's put on text. Yes, of course, you don't take words from someone and then you try to process them. We've seen some technologies do that, but Narcissus is only going to be focused on trying to look at what natural language that is put on text can we process using artificial intelligence. Narcissus, take it away.
Thank you for giving such a good example. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see his screen.
Awesome, thank you. So let's get started with a little bit of theory, right? So a quick recap, right? So for I'm just doing a quick recap for the context of the episode. If you want a full analysis, a full briefing, please go watch the previous episode for you to understand. So, introduction to natural language processing. As Samueleze summarized, he said that natural language processing involves applications that can see, hear, speak with, and understand what users have to say. That's what I've just said is like a simple definition of what natural language processing is. But if you want a more detailed definition, is the processing done by devices, machines, gadgets, etc., to understand the human language or interact with or have human interactions via text or speech. That's like a more detailed definition. Um, Now that we know what natural language processing, what is it made out of? So the key elements of natural language processing involves analyzing and interpreting text in documents, email, messages, and other sources, interpret spoken language and synthesize speech responses, basically like your Siri, your Google Assistant. That's what it means. Automatically translate spoken or written phrases between languages, your Google Translate or your Bing Translate, and interpret commands and determine appropriate action. So if I say switch in your smart houses, etc., if I say switch off lights, the light must go off. If I say open curtains, the curtains must be opened. So that's the one of the four key elements on natural language processing. So I've been moving a bit fast because this is just a recap. Like I said, you must go watch the previous episode. So there are four aspects to look at when it comes to natural language processing. We are Microsoft, so we're only going to be talking about what Microsoft has to offer, right? So there's text analysis, translator text, speech, and language understanding intelligence service, aka LUIS. So what we started off last week, last time on the episode, we started with text analysis. I'm going to move on to translator text, speech, and Lewis, which we'll do finally. So now we're going to be talking more about the text analysis, right? What is text analysis? In simple words, we are trying to understand or make sense of what the text has to offer. What about the text? How does it work? What is it trying to tell us? That's basically we're analyzing the text, the content of the text that's been given onto us. So yeah, that leads us to today's session, getting started with Azure Cognitive Service for Language. Wow, that's such a big name. Okay. Um, but we will see how simple it is, right? So back to the text analysis. So people who study or analyze text or languages, they're called linguistics. That's the study of languages, linguistics. So now they use these tools to analyze text. They're called statistical analysis, extending frequency, applying stammering, applying linguistic structures, encoding words, creating vectorized models. All of these tools are what main people who linguistics. I don't know what people the exact name, but they use all these tools to analyze text. This is very tiring, for a person, for people. But now with the use of AI, with the use of text analysis, with the use of Azure, all of this is done by the machine. You don't have to handle or take care of all of that, right? So I just wanted to show you what some of the techniques that are used by linguistics. Um, Moving on. So what can we do with text analysis service, right? So now we can determine the language of a document. So determine which language it is, French, Afrikaans, isiZulu, etc. Perform sentiment analysis. That's what we did last time. We created an application to determine the sentiment of a sentence. So whether the sentence was positive or negative, or it was neutral. That's what we did last time. Extract key phrases from the text, the important figures, the important points. So instead of you reading through a whole document, a whole thesis, or for people who are doing the PhD, you can just use this tool to extract the important parts of it. Identify and characterize entities from the text. So your location, your places, your organization, it can pick up all of those things using this technology. So that's what we can do with the text analysis servers, right? So how is it used in everyday life? On social media feeds, they use it to analyze what sentiment people are trying to say in a political campaign or in a product ad. All those things. They're trying to see what customers or their viewers feel about certain things. That's what they use to find out the sentiment or what the people are feeling. A document search application, your Grammarly, on all your other, universities, what they use to catch us if we plagiarize or anything, they use this technology as well, and also to extract information about companies, etc. Basically, and as I said earlier, to analyze the text that's been given to us. Moving on. So, how can you get started with text analysis on Azure, right? First of all, you have to create a subscription on Azure, and then you have to create a resource, a text analysis resource on Azure. I'll show you how to do that again. And also, there's two types of resources that you can create. You can create a text analytics resource, which only solely focuses on text analysis, and a cognitive services resource, which is all the cognitive services by Microsoft in one, but you're gonna use the text analysis resource by itself. So there's the difference between the two. One is only solely for the text analysis service resource, and the other one is everything included, but you're just gonna use one, basically. So what can you do with the text analysis resource? Language detection, ambiguous or mixed language content, sentiment analysis, interdeterminate sentiment, sorry for my pronunciation, key phrase extraction, and entity recognition. Again, just repeating. So this is what we are on to. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of things to cover, and this is what I found. This is what when preparing the content, this is what I found what we can do with the Azure Cognitive Service for language documentation, right? And it's been it's been broken down into pieces for us. We can extract information, classify text, answer questions, translate text, and understand conversation. So basically, everything I've explained now in a more in a more organized way. Basically, if you get what I mean, right? So we
Mm.
got to extract information where, as it says, we want to extract information from the text that we've been given. So what does text? Let me go back. What does extract information have to? What does it consist of? Extract key phrases from the text, find linked entities, named entity recognition, personal identifiable information, custom named entity recognition, text analysis for how text summarization. All of these big words. What does it mean? What does it do? Well, we'll find out just now. Classified text. So this is what we did last week. Analyze sentiment and mind text for opinions, detect the language and custom text classification, right? Answer questions. So this is the technology that chatbots use. It's a form of natural language processing which they answer questions. So you write a question and then the bot answers it back. How does it do that? It makes use of natural language processing. I once had a debate with my friend. I said, no, chatbots don't use natural language processing, but then I was wrong. And there you go. We'll get to see it when we tackle chatbots in the next segment of AI Tuesday. And then
Mm-hmm.
understand conversation. So understand conversation is part of Lewis language understanding intelligence service. As I mentioned earlier, this will be we will touch last when we were finishing off with NLP, and we get to translate text. So that's what we're gonna do next. Translate text. Basically, make our own Google translator if we want. I can say, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you said quite a lot from when we started, but I just wanted to note something. Back to that chatbot part where you were having a conversation with your friend and saying, "Oh no, no, it doesn't use NLP." I've always wondered how they actually work because most of the time when we build chatbots for people who haven't built chatbots, it's like you have a knowledge base where you store all of your questions and answers. So and then you just point your chatbot to that knowledge base, and then you're like, okay, because the person asked this question, then the chatbot will have this answer. So I was like, maybe they just look at the question and the answer and match them together. But normally when we learned, we were like, machines or computers don't really understand human language. So I've always wondered how they actually did that. And now you have NLP, and you're actually touching on that part, and I'm like, wow, because there's a solution that we just built for with one of my friends, where we were using a chatbot, obviously, and we were just building a solution through a chatbot, and I was like, I was not even paying attention on how the chatbot is actually understanding the questions that are being asked. It's like, okay, just because I know on my knowledge base, I put this question and this is the answer to the question. That's how it does it. But I think with what you're saying now, I understand. Oh, there's actually more than what meets the eye. This is really quite informative.
Yeah, and we're still gonna touch on it. Basically, like to just give you a bit of to add on to what you just said. So you have your knowledge base, right? So now from your
Yeah.
knowledge base, you have to look for certain key words in that question that's been asked, and it indirectly refers it to that knowledge base or to that specific answer that you have. That's basically
Mm.
like in a nutshell of how chatbots work. But that's not the focus of today's session. As I said, we'll come back to it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
move.
folks. That before you carry on, Narcissus, I'm so sorry. The focus
Yeah.
of today, the focus of today is to teach me and Jessica how to actually build our own Google Assistant or Siri. That's what we're actually looking at, and this is quite awesome. I'm excited. I'm really excited. What about you, Jessica?
I'm super excited because I have a Google at home assistant, and I'm super interested at like how it works. And then I also
Yeah.
want to build my own because I want to like create a own like list of languages and then
Hmm.
test to see if it would recognize it. So that's quite cool.
Yeah. We in good hands. There's Narcisse here. Narcisse, carry on. Just show us how to do this, and
Uh,
after this, we're gonna be pros.
Awesome, no problem. I'm really glad that you're getting a lot from it. So as I was saying, just like as I said, I know this theory sounds boring and then like why do we have to do this? The reason why we have to do this is when we go to the practical, you understand what is being said, what I'm doing, and you're not getting lost. And that's why we're doing the theory, basically. So
Yeah.
as we're speaking about extract information, right? So extract information, extract key phrases. It uses key phrases extraction to quickly identify main concepts in text, right? For example, the food was delicious and the staff were wonderful. The key phrases extraction will return the main topics, food and wonderful stuff. As we can clearly see that that's the main um, we can clearly see that's the main topic in the conversation, food and wonderful stuff. Those are the two focus of a day. So that's the first example. Find linked entities. So what is entities? Entities is a place, an organization, an existing place, etc. That's what entity stands for, an existing place, an organization. That's what it means, right? Entity linking identifies and this disambiguates the identity of entities found in text. So it identifies and locates places, names of cities, etc. For example, we went to Seattle last week. The word Seattle will be identified with a link to more information on Wikipedia. So what this key text analysis even does is when it finds a city organization, it even gives you a link to find out more about that place. So as I said, Seattle is gonna give me a Wikipedia link to tell me more about Seattle, right? Named entity recognition, aka NER, is a feature that can identify and categorize entities in unstructured text. So basically, as I mentioned, linked entities basically it just identifies the location or the cities in a certain text. But named entity recognition, it classifies or it puts it into more details so that you can clearly understand. It categorize it under people, places, organization, or quantities, right? You're gonna see it when we do an example. And lastly, personally identifiable information detection, aka PII. So PII identifies personal information about people in a certain text or document. So your email address, your phone number, your ID, the name of the person, it identifies and picks it up in the document, right? So moving on with the extract information, custom named entity recognition, right? So custom named entity recognition, it enables users to build models to extract. So basically, it's like a customized entity recognition. So whatever you want it to pick up, you train it to pick up. So for example, I wanted to pick up emails from spam and original emails. So if it's a spam email, it goes into the spam folder. If it's not a spam email, it goes into my main email. So I'm training it to detect only spam emails. So you can see it's customized, right? Before it was not customized, it was picking everything entity related, but now custom named entity recognition, I'm customizing to pick up whatever I want. Text analytics for health. So for those doctors or for your friend who studies medicine, you can recommend this to them. It extracts and labels relevant medical information from unstructured text. So it picks up the diagnosis of the patient. It picks up the medication prescribed, like, I don't even know how to describe it because it's just for me to show you, for you to understand how it works, right? And then you got named entity recognition. As I said, under text analytics for health, there's named entity recognition, relation extraction, entity leaking, and assertion detection, right? So we'll cover this as I showed the example. And the text summarization, it basically summarizes the text into sentences for you to know about, for you to know what that document is all about. We are almost finished with the theory. So now we move over to classifying text. As I said, classified text involves classifying into positive or negative sentiments. Detect languages. It detects what language is being written. So if it's right now the language that is being written is English, it's gonna detect English. If I put French, it's gonna detect French. Custom text classification, you're customizing to detect whatever you want. As I said, it's being customized. And then over to answer question it as I said, with the chatbot, it involves chatbot, it involves the chatbot answering questions, understand conversation. So I played a video last week or when we studied NLP about how this team managed to create their own language in the game, as if it's a space game. So it's all about aliens and everything. So now they created this like alien language that we do not know about. You know, like Star Wars. If you watch Star Wars, you can create your own language. That's under Lewis, and translate text. You know, you translating the text into whatever language you want. So that's the end with the theory. I'm sure people were bored with the theory, but yeah. So let's get on to the practical. Any questions? Any remarks before we get started with the practical?
You can't say people are bored when I was just mentioning about how chatbots work because you blew my mind with that. Jessica, I don't know if you have questions before I carry on babbling again.
Yes, I actually do. So, Narcisse, I actually wanted to ask, so you said like the text analytics will like detect languages. So now, what about languages that don't necessarily use like letters, like but they use symbols? Like, is text, does symbols fall under text? And like, will it like recognize like Chinese or
Japanese.
Korean? Yeah, like those type of languages. Does it
Good
work for
question. Good question. So basically, the languages that it will detect is the languages in the database of Azure or the database that Microsoft, the languages that Microsoft has deemed recognized. So, for example, when I was doing this, I saw there was no isiZulu, there was no Sesotho, you know. So that's kind of unfair, but it's up to us to like bring those languages into the text analysis so it can detect those languages, or tell Microsoft, hey, these languages also exist, can you put them in? So it's up to us. So to answer your question, Jessica, it detects the languages that's already been recognized by Microsoft. You know, so there's a few language, like 52, if I'm not mistaken, languages that have been recognized for the text analysis. But it's under progress, so with more time, the more languages will be added on, basically.
Hmm.
I hope that,
Hmm.
I hope that
Thank
answers your question.
Yes, it did. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, which reminds me of something I have came across with Power Platform or Power Apps because Narcisse most of the time likes to speak about solutions or likes to speak about these things that are quite familiar to what you can find in the Microsoft Power Platform. I don't mean to be poaching people, but at the end of the day, if you go to Microsoft Power Platform or Power Apps for an example, and you're trying to use AI Builder, there is a language, I think a language recognition model there. They actually do involve languages like Chinese and Japanese. So Narcisse stuff is still a work in progress. If you go to the Microsoft Power Platform, you can find what you want. But obviously, like he said, it's almost similar because it uses recognized languages, like languages that are very much popular and trying to be inclusive of different continents. Obviously, most of the time people are using English, and there's different continents we're using English most of the time. And then to include like French, because French is very popular. Chinese is very popular because it's a very big continent over there. So yeah, we have something similar there. Even with this text analysis that he is doing now, we have, oh, he did, I remember he mentioned that he did sentiment analysis. Even Power Apps has sentiment analysis as well, but I don't have to use a command line to actually use sentiment analysis, by the way. But yeah, you can carry on, Nassis. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem. So just the practical. So this is the application that we did last time. So if you want the code for this application, it's on our GitHub repository. You can take a look at that and you'll find the code and you can play around with this. So we did the text and text classification using code. So now we are trying to identify what sentiment were the sentence having. For example, I had the best day of my life. It's a positive sentiment, and you can even check by the score 1.0, negative 0.0, neutral 0. So if it's one, it's positive. Let's look at the others. I wish you had I wish you were there with me. The sentiment analysis says it's neutral. Positive. Why is it neutral? It even tells you in detail. 0.21 positive, negative 0.2, and neutral 0.7. Because we can tell that it's not good, it's not bad, it's neutral. We can tell, but it's detecting by itself. And and opinion mining, as I mentioned, opinion mining is basically gives us more detail about the sentiment that has been given to us, as you can see. So now this was done. Oh, well, one more thing. So basically, this is language detection. It detects what language is being written. So for this word, this text that I put, what was the word? I said hello, right? So that was the word hello, and we know that hello is English, and it detected English and the code. So this is the code recognized by Microsoft, ISO, and then English, EN. That's the code for English by Microsoft. So that's what it detected. So now this was done using code. What if I don't know any code? What if I don't have any tech background? Well, there's something for you, and I would like to introduce Language Studio, like Language Studio by Microsoft. This is part of the text analysis service that we were talking about earlier on, and everything that I mentioned you can do with this Language Studio in a graphical user interface. So as you can see, I've just opened it up now. Extract personal information, extract key phrases, extract entities, um, extract health information, everything that I mentioned, it's done over here on the Language Studio. So now this is a tool by Microsoft that enables you to do everything, analyze your text or languages in one place. If you don't have any programming background or anything, you can do it over here. Mind you, say everything that's over here, you can also do it using code. We're gonna do that in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to show this for those who don't know, who don't have any programming background, and we're gonna try some of them. So the first things first, before I jump over here, this is part of something called NLU, Natural Language Understanding. So we're trying to understand the language. We're trying to understand the text. So that's why they classify this as something separate. NLU. There's NLP, NLU. So NLU falls under NLP. Don't get it confused. It's still under NLP, processing languages. But now it's a new segment called NLU, Natural Language Understanding, because we're trying to understand the language or understand what's been given to us. So now, how do you create this? We go to Azure. We'll quickly jump onto Azure, create the resource. I'm just gonna create the resource for you so you can see quickly, right? So now you can quickly search Language Studio, right? Language Studio. So as you can see, the Language Studio is there. I've already created one, which is Text Analysis NLP. And then I click Create. And you fill in the details. I won't create it because I've already created one, as you can see. So I'm just gonna show you some of the things that you might face when creating this resource on Azure, right? So it tells you what features you're gonna be doing with the text analysis, the language. What am I saying? It tells you what features you'll be able to do when you create this resource: sentiment analysis, key phrase extraction, etc. And then it tells you what about it. You want to be custom question and answering or custom text classification extraction. So if you're building chatbots and etc., you're gonna select this one because you're gonna be using chatbots, right? But I'm not using any chatbots, so that's why I selected this one. Or you can use both of them together, as you can see. And then after that, you continue to creating your resource. That's what you're gonna do. Yeah. So I've already created this resource. I won't do it again. So I'm just gonna jump in to the language studio because it's been created for us, and we're gonna
Narcisse,
play around with it. Yes,
before you jump in, our main host would like to be back into the episode.
no problem. No problem. Um, 1 minute. Any questions in the chat or anything?
Um, None at the moment, but I'm super, super excited to see what you made and the explanations of how you made it and all the challenges that come with it.
Can't believe we're already on Azure.
Yeah. So basically, let's start, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is just a glimpse. This is Lewis, right? This is Lewis Language Understanding Intelligence Service. I opened it just to show you how it looks like and what you can do about it. So this is a home automation. So if I say switch off light, the light will be switched off. Now this is the test app where I was trying to create my own language, but we'll deal about that later. I just wanted to show you about Lewis. So yeah, let's jump onto extracting personal information, right? So extracting personal information, right? You want to extract personal information from the text that you've entered. You can detect which language that you want. You see, auto detect Chinese, English, Japanese, Portuguese, and Spanish. Those are the language that are available. As you can see, Jessica, referring to what you just mentioned earlier on, you can upload your own document that you want to work with, right? Or you can use the text that has been provided, the default text, and we're gonna use the default text that's been provided for us, right? So we went to Contoso Food Place located downtown Seattle. I won't read through it, but as you can see, and now I'm gonna press run. It's gonna analyze it for us, and let's see what it comes up with, right? So it picks up the date and time, right? The person, so the date and time is last week. Let's analyze it. The date and time is last week. The person is a chef cook, right? The person tab is the owner. It's related to the person. The person itself is John Doe. The link mentioned is www.contoso. The phone number is that's the phone number that's been extracted, and the email of the person has been extracted over there. And it even tells you where exactly it's been extracted. Last week, person tab, owner. So it's clearly extracted the personal information of the person, as you can see, right? Let's just make a simple example. Narcisse.
Sorry, Narcisse. I actually have a question. What does the confidence mean at the bottom? Like they said, like 68% confident
Yeah.
or
Oh,
84%
good,
confident.
good question. So the confidence is basically how sure it is of that statement of that remark. So basically, for the text that I've entered right now, Narcisse is a boy. We all know Narcisse is a boy, right? So now let's see what the AI tells us. entity value Narcisse, confidence, it's a person 61%. So it's confident that and my name is a person 61% basically. So now with more, because think about it, Narcisse doesn't Narcisse, there's narcissistic and narcissism, etc. Right? That's what causes the confusion, and that's why it gives us 61%, because hey, this is the name of a person. That's what it's trying to tell us. But let's see if we say Somalese. I can't say Jessica. uh,
I doubt it'll even have a great confidence in my name.
okay, so
Oh,
60%. So
nice.
60% is a
Oh,
boy.
Narcisse territory.
Okay.
I don't know.
I am known by the AI gods. Yes.
So it detects as a name of a person. That's when it, oh, 73%. Look at that.
Wow. Tori,
Look
if
at
you're watching this, hi. Wow. The AI gods like you. Wow.
that. So yeah, so it's 73% detect. So now you can put your own document to detect personal information about people, or you're trying to spy on someone, just put the information there. It's gonna take out all the information that you want if you want. But I'm not saying go spy on people and invade their privacy. No. There's something called responsible AI. I've spoken about it, but I won't focus on it now. So expect key phrases, right? As I said, we can upload our own document, or we're just gonna use the existing one for presentation sake, right? So I've uploaded the phrase, and now let's see what it says. So Contoso Food Place is a key phrase. Downtown Seattle. So the key phrases is just telling us what is important about this segment. What should we know? You know. So there's a food place named Contoso. Where is it located? In downtown Seattle. What happened over there? A dinner party happened. It's a favorite spot for the people there. They have marvelous food. They have a great menu. The chef cooks, and he's also the owner. The name of the person is John Doe. So you see, those are important things. For instead of us reading throughout all of it, it tells us the important bits, as you can see. And this time there's no confidence score, because it's just telling us the important bits, you know. So that's why it's not there. Any questions with this one, or must we do another one before we go carry on?
Hmm. I'm kind of thinking with that, most people could possibly use this, like for an example, if they have a paper that they're reading, or maybe, let's say you're at school or you're at work or you're just having some fun and you don't want to read through the entire paper. You just trying to look at like the important parts of the text that's within there. So you can use this, or obviously you'll have to have an electronic copy of the paper, yes, so that you can put the text there. But this really could really come in handy in situations like that. Like I know where sometimes when you're doing work, you have to look at the important parts of the emails, and it could be like a big chunk of words being used there, and you don't understand what is going on. You don't know what is important, what is not important. This is really really good.
Yeah, it makes our life easy. It doesn't
Yeah,
have to.
yeah. Like I
It's,
said,
sorry.
yeah.
You're saying Jessica?
So um, I noticed like the keywords that they recognize is like places, adjectives, so like great, things that describe objects, email, like those type of words. So I was wondering, I don't know if this is a right question to ask, but I have to do lots of research when with like most of my stuff is a lot of research, but most of my research is like math. So is it possible to like maybe train this to look at like because math doesn't have objects, it doesn't have words that describe things. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Good question. And I can tell you, yes, you can. You can train it
Wow.
to do, because, like I said, this customized. You can customize it to do whatever you want. So that's why you can train it. But now you're gonna involve code, yeah, because this one
Ah.
doesn't
Okay.
allow you to do it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Hello, my math geeks out there. Here's
So
something to learn. You can come and learn this. It can help you. it'll definitely help you.
So yeah. So now we're moving on to find link entities. So now we're looking for places, or organization, etc.
Yeah,
So
while you're running that, I just wanna make a comment about that math question that Jessica asked. I just realized something. The last time I did maths, they had financial maths within maths, and that was not really easy to actually understand and extract the stuff that was there. So using this, if you're in high school and you're faced with financial maths, this is a great tool for you. Please watch this.
Yes, I
basically,
agree with Somalese, because basically what you could do is, if you can teach it to read like some, how they write it, because you get it in a paragraph, the question, then they'll tell you like the initial amount, they'll tell you the final amount, they'll tell you the period of years, and then it'll give you all the information in a compact form, which is easier than reading through all of it. So just
Yeah.
presents information in a more clear, compact way.
mm, that's true. Basically, instead of you reading for key points in the question, it does it for you in summary. So, as I was saying, identifying key elements, key entities. So, from this sentence, our tour guide took us up to the Space Needle during our trip to Seattle. So now it identified Space Needle and Seattle as key entities. So now, if I click on this link over here, it's gonna tell me more about Space Needle. You know, so there's the picture of Space Needle over here, as you can see. So now it makes it easy. While I'm reading, I don't have to ask, what the heck is Space Needle, or where the heck is Seattle located? It tells it for me, and it detected it for me, as you can see. So that's also another cool feature. There's a lot to go through, and I hope we can get through it before the time ends, because we've already gone past my
Yeah,
intended
we
one.
have. I was about to
Yeah.
say, but you know, it's so fun to learn these things. I mean, high schoolers can actually use this, so we might as well just show them all of the cool stuff you can actually do with technology and AI. Again, AI is not here to kill us; it's here to help
Mm.
us.
I see. Okay, so let me just speed it up then. You'll ask the questions at the end, or if you can interrupt me if the question is urgent. So extract named entities, right? So if I run this state, so I'm just using pre-built statements already. So now, if like I said, extract named entities, it's being classified into organization, location, date and time, events, etc. So Contoso is an organization, location is a food place, Seattle location, and it even tells you the confidence, how sure it is. Date and time last week, event, dinner party. All of this we can tell that it is like that, but it's picking it up by itself, which I find is really cool. Like that effect that the machine is doing it, it's really, really cool. Expect health information. This I prepared a special one. My mom is a nurse, so I got her to give me a subscription or prescription that they use in the hospital for us to test. So first of all, let's test what's been given to us, right? So let's see what it comes up with. So patient needs to take 100 milligrams of ibuprofen and 3 milligrams of potassium, and also needs to take 10 milligrams of Zocor. Patient needs to take 50 grams of ibuprofen and 2 milligrams of comedian. I don't know these medical names, but just take a look at how it has analyzed it. The dosage of medicine, right? 100 milligrams, medication name, does it 3 minutes. So it classifies it and makes it easy for the doctor to get information, so that they don't have to like read through it. Doctor's handwriting. This does this job for us. For us to understand it.
I
Yeah,
agree with you
definitely.
100%.
Sorry, doctors out there if you're watching, but yeah. So here's another one, even in more detail, right? So now there's a date and time, the diagnosis of the person, the administration, the admin date, the way where they discharge, the diagnosis, the symptom, agnia symptom or sign, examination name, the type of exam that was carried out, family relation. It's it analyzes everything to its core. That's what I can say. And this is what that's been given to us. Let's use what my mother showed me. Um, we almost finished. Let's just use what my mother showed me. So my mother said a 57-year-old male patient came in complaining of weakness and dizziness. So this is not prescribed by Microsoft. This is like from an actual hospital, right? Vital signs
Mm.
are as follows: BP 190 over 95, heart rate 10 100. I don't wanna read everything, but as you can see for yourself, right? I'm pressing run. Let's see how an actual prescription or medical report looks like. So now it picks up the age, 57-year-old male, the gender, the weakness, the symptom or
Ooh.
sign, the the examination carried out, vital signs, the measure of the examination name, the medication name, even like I don't know what more to as I said when explaining this part, I don't know what more to say this. So if you're a medical or if you study medicine, this is for you. You don't need to read those thick textbooks like that. Use this.
Don't make
You can
people lazy, please.
so so yeah. To end it off, I'll use the sentiment analysis. So
Ah, my
as
favorite one.
we did it using code. Now let's use this tool, the language studio, to do it for us. So I've entered this long text over there. Let's see what it says. So mixed, right? The document sentiment is mixed. Confidence 86%. It's positive, 0% neutral, and negative. So I think it's a positive sentiment. I don't know why it's saying it's mixed. It's a positive sentiment, as you can see, because it's a 6%. It's the highest. It's a positive sentiment. So it even details it according to the type of sentence, the number of sentences that there is over there. So we saw the one using code that we did on Visual Studio, and this is the one that's done on the Language Studio. And this is the opinion mining. It gives us more information about the sentiment that's been addressed. Let's find a more simple word, a more simple sentence. So this, I had the best day of my life. Obviously, this is straightforward, positive, as you can see.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So detecting languages. Let's detect the language. Try it out. Detect the language. So bonjour. Cette phrase est en français. Merci d'utiliser notre service. So I speak French. That's why I'm able to read it out, right? But there's it over there. Let's run it. 100% French, and you can even mix languages.
Mm.
Let's say hello. I am Narcisse. Oh, hello.
World.
This is Jessica speaking French. So let's run it and see what happens. It looks like it needs. Oh, but look, from 100% to
To
86%,
86. Yeah.
it detected English inside it, as you can see. But it didn't specify English. It said, "Hey, there's a bit of English." So yeah, that's language detection and language translation. It's not, there's a lot of things I wanted to cover throughout this whole episode, but we focus on more of the theory because it's important for when you're actually dealing with this.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to end it off here because of
Yeah.
time.
With that, with what you're saying, and you saying obviously you wanted to cover a lot of stuff. Obviously, that's how it always is. I mean, you want to cover more stuff and show people. But I can tell you this from what I've been watching and listening to this entire episode is that I at least I can understand that most of the things that are on the language studio work in a similar manner by detecting all of the different things that are actually detecting. I'm also saying this because I've worked with artificial intelligence, but that was within Power Apps, and I wasn't writing code, so it was a similar process than what you were doing in this episode. So most of the models that were there on Power Apps, they were the same. They were working in a similar way. For an example, there was form processing, and then there was receipt processing
Mm.
and object detection. So that actually looked at trying to take a picture of something, detect whatever that is on a document or on a picture or whatever it is, and then in a sense, they all correlate to each other because they work in a similar manner and they make our lives even much more easier. I mean, we spoke about how high schoolers can actually use this in maths, and people who are doing medicine, they can also use this instead of reading long textbooks, even though I said let's not make people lazy, but I still stand by my point. So yeah, it's been a very wonderful episode and session, very insightful even. Like I said with the chatbot thing, that is not the way I actually thought about it when I was building chatbots before. Jessica, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I agree with everything that you've said so far, but I was really interested about the chatbot as well, because I thought like maybe they just match the statements and the answers to the two and
Yeah.
then read it out. So I didn't actually think that they actually use natural language processing. So that was quite interesting, and I can't wait to try this for math problems. This is really so cool. But sometimes I have to read a lot of stuff, and it's like I don't like if I could just pick out all the key parts and then actually just put it together, or even if I do like lots of research and I need
Yeah.
keywords or picking out all the most important things and then training it to like look for the definition within the context and then takes me to
Hmm.
the definition instead of having to
Yeah.
open up a new tab and then type it in. So it makes sense. And I think I just learned so much and I can't wait for more episodes to learn more. So, you know, sis, it was very wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. In the space of a few minutes. Oh my god. That's this. I just want to pass on my thanks towards this special episode because I really loved the natural language processing stuff, mostly because I also have something similar for Power Thursdays, in which I've spoken about with AI Builder and stuff. But how you were tackling this within the language studio within Azure, and I was like, oh wow, you can actually do this, and all of the different insights that you just shared with us. Hopefully, someone out there is actually listening and is learning because I learned a lot from this. I took a lot of information out of this. With that, I just want to say thank you, Narcisse, and also thank you to my wonderful co-host to actually being with me on this wonderful episode. And we learned quite a lot, even though we're teaching people how to be lazy. Obviously, AI is here to make people's lives better than actually kill people, like I said before. So yes, to everyone who's watching us out there, thank you so much for tuning in. And we hope to come back with more awesome and explosive episodes better than ever. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.